Today I'll share with you something my mentor had once taught me a couple of years ago. Okay. For those of you who are not aware, in my 30s, 30, that is 16 years ago, I'm 46 today. So when I was in my 30s, uh, obviously I didn't identify him as a mentor. He is the CEO and the owner of the company, but he was someone I looked up to. Okay. And because he was running a business with a turnover of 11 million US dollars, he had started from literally zero. He didn't have any money, nothing. From there, he made this company, which was a manufacturing plant, 11 million US dollars. You might not be impressed when you factor in Elon Musk and all that, but for an individual like me, who was just hardly making $1,000 a month, that is before working for him, for a man who's making 11 million US dollars turnover, it's a big thing, right? You and I, if you would make 11 million US dollars turnover, I think we'd also be impressed with ourselves at least. So for me, I had the rare opportunity of literally not only being with him 24/7, seriously, not like 24/7, like I'd wake up in the morning and he would go to church and he would say, come to church. And then when we would go to office, we would come together and I would sit in his office and he would tell me, do this, do that. And I literally got to see how he would deal with clients, customers, people. There was so much of valuable learning. More than an MBA, more than a PhD, I learned being with him. My foundation, whatever I have today in terms of thinking, is all because of him. Obviously, I didn't become like him. That's why these tattoos and all that. But there was a lot of life lessons and wisdom. So one of the many lessons that I learned was one day when we were walking down the factory, and as usual, he has all these engineers and technicians and people who do like welding and carpentry work and all that. So he was walking, I was walking with him, and he was supervising. I was just paying attention to what he's doing. And all of a sudden, he noticed a couple of guys, they were not working because there was no work actually. Okay. They were not working, so there was no work because remember, in a factory, when you have demand, you manufacture something to sell. But if there's no demand for a product, what's the point of manufacturing? And he was into industrial, that is low voltage switchgear. So he saw a bunch of these guys, they were not doing anything much because obviously no work. They were just wasting their time doing small, not so important jobs. So automatically he called 4-5 of them. He said, come here. And he told the main supervisor there, okay, I want you guys to remove everything from here, clean up everything, make everything in order, sort things out. He gave them a long list of things to do. Okay. And there were a couple of machines and all that. He said, I want you to dismantle the machine. I want you to clean up the machine. I want you to paint it. I want, So basically, just literally everything from the lighting to the paint to even sorting out locks and this and that, everything. Yeah, you get what I'm saying. It's like making all the general repairs and all that. So I was looking at him make them do all this. So after we finished walking down the factory, he gave them instructions. We went back to his office. And when we sat down there, he ordered his cup of tea. I ordered mine. So I told him, hey, that was a very good idea that you're making them do work and they're busy. So he said, he told me that's not the reason why I gave them work, just to be busy. So then I asked him, like, then why did you give them work if not to be busy? Like they were sitting doing it. He said, no. He said, because there is something going to happen next. So I said, what is going? He's saying, there's a big job coming. I said, okay. So, but then I started thinking, okay, there's a big job coming. So then why you cleaning, painting. That is where he introduced me to two terms. And then the third term, obviously, when I did my research, I came. And this is the advice he gave me. He said, Loy, there are two things. Well, let's put it as three, even though he didn't say it. But these two things, he said there is one thing called corrective maintenance, the other one called preventive maintenance. And the third one, which I found out, was predictive. So corrective, preventive, predictive. So what does it mean? As the name suggests, correct, that means if something is wrong, you make it right. So in terms of machinery, if something is not working, obviously there's a breakdown, right? You can have your scooter, your car, your AC, your fridge. If it breaks down, obviously you'll call a technician to repair it. But now the problem here is if something that you have breaks down, then there is loss of working days. Like for example, I'm a social media guy. If my computer were to break down or my camera were to spoil, I would not have the equipment to do work. And that can affect, 2-3 days of uploads, or let's say my phone is not working and my customer calls, he's ready to pay money. It'll affect, right? So if it is a small thing like a GoPro, I have 4 GoPros. If it's my computer, I have a backup 2 other computers. I have a laptop also. Okay. However, if the equipment is large, let's say your car, obviously if you have 2-3 cars, not a problem. But if you have only one car, then you have to go get a renter car, or you'll have to think of various options, right? And this can really put it can put a wrench in your plans. So instead of a breakdown, and then obviously you have to pay. But if it breaks down, yes, you call the technician, you get it repaired. Like my AC or something spoils, I call the guy to repair. And you have to pay a premium because obviously they'll charge you more. They know that it's spoiled. You want to get it repaired fast, you pay premium more. Others, they'll book slow. So that is corrective maintenance. But then the smart guy is the one who will do preventive maintenance. Now, what is preventive maintenance? It's like, in simple words, you prevent. My scooter or my car or anything, if I had, instead of me waiting for it to break down, I will take it for an annual checkup. And you can do the same with even your body. Every year you have a checkup. What is my cholesterol? What is my fat? What is my sugar? How is my heart performing? All that, you have a complete checkup. So you do that before it spoils. I normally do this with the fridge, washing machine, with my scooter, especially the scooter, because I'm driving with my children, and my family. So what I tend to do is I always check the tires, I check the brakes. Even if there's nothing wrong, I'll check it in advance. Because, if something happens, then it's a death, right? So tires and the brakes and all that. Okay. So that is preventive. And the reason for preventive, before the worst case happens. But then the absolutely intelligent person will do the third step. And that is what I had found out, is predictive maintenance. Predictive maintenance is not just preventive. It's like, okay, I'll take my scooter, for example, my computer. I'll just get it repaired so it's working perfectly. I'll delete all the files. Predictive is before you actually do something, you already take the steps. Like I'll give a simple example. When I was in negotiation with my client, he was a VIP client, and he had put the proposal that maybe we'll go on a business trip. This happened at the beginning of the year. We'll go last year. It started last year, December. We'll go for a business trip. So immediately, I looked into the possibility, okay, if he takes me for a business trip, maybe it'll be for a month, but then I'll need a laptop. And I didn't have a laptop. I sold my old laptop because it was hardly using it. So I had to research and find out which is the best new Apple laptop. And lo and behold, I found out if I want the top spec laptop, I'll have to wait for 1 month, 1 to 2 months. And it actually took 45 days to get the custom made laptop. Then I had to research, okay, if I'm traveling, I will need cameras. Okay, I had 2 GoPros that time. I said, I'll need maybe more than that. I had just 4 batteries. I said, maybe I'll need 8. Then obviously my smartphone was like, okay, what if it's not working? I'll need one more iPhone, just to, suppose one is not working, I'll have to have a backup. Then obviously I started preparing, okay, if I were to stay in this thing, I might need a power extension, I might need extra cash, extra, card with money. So all I was predicting in advance before it would actually happen. And mind you, nothing was confirmed. So because I took a predictive approach, when it did happen, I was absolutely ready. So corrective is when something spoils, you change. Preventive is you prevent it from happening. But the third one, the most powerful one, which I felt encompasses all this, is you have a vision for the future, 6 months. Okay, this might happen, and you then walk backwards. I've utilized these 3 bits of advice in my life, whether it is money, whether it is relationship, whether it is health. Like, for example, why am I going on a diet, intermittent fasting, and I've lost 11.5 kilos in these 2 months? Why am I studying? I'm learning something new. Why am I working very hard, even though I have already a set number of clients? Why am I working very hard for the year end? Because you predict 6 months in advance this might happen, so you plan it backwards. And if you do that smart and intelligently, I'll tell you, you will be far better than those people who just go with the flow. Because at the end of the day, remember this much: when bad things happen, they don't inform you. And when bad things have to happen, all the shit comes down together and rains down on your parade. And then you'll be like, what the fuck hit me, man? So be it your health before you actually get hospitalized. Be it your finances, be it your even simple miscellaneous, like your scooter or your fridge or AC or computer or whatever. Don't wait until it's too late. Even your job. Don't take things for granted. Don't take your life for granted. Remember, corrective, preventive, and predictive. So this is what I learned from my mentor, and this is what I found. Let me know in the comments below, what do you think of this advice? Good, bad, ugly? Love to hear from you. Guys, take care.